Hello and welcome to another episode of Soul Talk, where we talk with Star Citizen with members of this community. I messed that up a little bit. We talk Star Citizen with members of the community. There you go. Oh boy, do you have a good day?
Yeah, it was busy, but it was an okay day. Yeah, it was an okay day. Can't complain.
You eat well?
Wrapping up. Yeah, kind of. You know, I had some projects I had to do this morning. Unfortunately, on the holiday, I usually don't work, but I did have to do some work for a client, and then I was supposed to go to a family dinner. I couldn't stay there more than an hour. Then I had to go do care for my mom, and then I had to Zoom home, and so I've just been kind of running around all day. I haven't really had a quote unquote relaxing holiday, but it's still been a good holiday. I'm still thankful, even with all that stuff. I'm still thankful, so I'm okay.
Cool. So, are you ready for me to do my thing and you drag people down, or do you want to?
I'm waiting with bated breath.
You get started and I'll do my thing.
Go ahead.
But this sound wasn't sad. Why this sounding glad? Every bounty down in Bannyville, the tall and the small, was singing without presents at all. He hadn't stopped Luminalia from coming. It came. Somehow or the other, it came just the same. And Colossal, with his 6 feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbon. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. He puzzled and puzzled till his puzzler was sore. Then the Sith thought of something that he hadn't before. Maybe Luminalia, he thought, didn't come from a store. Maybe Luminalia, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Bandyville, they say that the Sith's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And then the true meaning of Luminalia came through, and the Sith found a strength of 10 Sith plus 2. And now with his heart he didn't feel quite so tight, he raised his load through the bright morning light. And with a smile to his soul, he descended Mount Crumpet, truly blowing hoo-hoo on his trumpet. He rode into Bannyville, he brought back the toys, he brought back the flute to the Banning girls and boys.
How'd you figure out a way to mix Star Wars, Christmas, and Dr. Seuss all together?
And Star Citizen.
And Star Citizen. Oh my God, that was a serious mashup, for sure. Yeah, but definitely the good old Grinch Store classic, right? It's the Grinch Store, yeah. The Grinch Stole Christmas. Awesome.
Yeah, I call it the Sith who stole Luminalia. You know, I practiced that word like during the afternoon, and I had it down pat. I knew that I was going to mess it up when it came live. I knew I was going to mess it up when it came live.
I'm sure Colossal appreciates the tribute wherever he may be. If he's here. I don't know if he's even here. He might be passed out by now because he hasn't typed anything in the chat. I know he's
probably.
Yeah, yep. No, that was an interesting take on it. I'll give you that. I'm sure there was a little bit of good labor involved with going into putting that together. As always, I know you put in the good work for it. So
I always try to make these fun, and I have fun making them. So
yeah, okay. Well, that's cool. That's very cool. Very cool. Okay.
You got everybody down here?
Oh, they're coming in now. You can start saying hi to everybody because most of them are here.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Asgard. I see you've joined the dark side.
Yeah, no, that's just Colossal.
No. I saw your post.
Which post is that?
The 315.
Oh yes. Unfortunately, I did join the dark side. I do have one origin ship now, but we'll get more into that in a bit.
I don't understand why you said that was the dark side. That confused me completely.
Well, technically, since Origin has white paint jobs, it'd be the light side, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. If he said he did Drake,
Lord Jesus.
If he said Drake, I would have seen him saying that.
That's
but
like
I didn't
saying Emperor Palpatine can
turn
turn light because he's wearing light clothes. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. You know me. The purity of Origin, I guess, is all it's about for me. So no problem.
Today
don't be over there.
We're joined by Amma Kusanagi, Face to Face, Colossal, Opti, Popping Face, and Spitfire. So, Colossal, did you hear my little thing?
I didn't know I was dragged into the room. Good evening.
So you didn't hear it?
I heard something about the dark side.
Okay.
Is that it? Is that what I was supposed to hear?
Yeah, we'll send it to you in the email.
When the show's over, just rewind to the VOD and take a listen. I think you're.
He did a tribute. He did a tribute to you tonight, and you missed it. That's what happens when you. That's what happens when you show up late.
I was just looking at Chris' selections.
Whoa, Opshief, you're breaking up.
Ooh, yep.
It sounds robotic.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. That's
there
better.
You go. Say that again.
Testing.
Yep, much better. Much better.
Yeah, what were you saying?
I was just watching Griff's reactions the whole time.
Yeah. Don't watch my reactions. Trust me, it's not a good thing to do.
I do want to clarify about the late thing though. Colossal's usually in bed at this time because he's usually got kids to teach the next day.
Typical Sith excuse, but anyway, Sith always have excuses.
So how's everybody doing? Everybody had a good Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah.
Gobble gobble.
Good.
Thanksgiving.
Good. Awesome. Chief, I don't know. You still got a little bit of robotic in your thing. You were clear for a second, but I don't know if you got something else running in the background that might be cutting into your thing.
Might be just me.
Somebody in the house running your internet, that downloading big time.
It's everybody.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Before we get to the sneak peek, I want to do a PSA. ACS Voice Pack is having a sale, or Black Friday sale, until I want to say December 1st, I think. But you can get packages half price. So if you got your eye on something, check them out. So hopefully that'll help somebody out. All right. So the sneak peek. Let me put the ACS Voice Pack link in Twitch chat real quick. But the sneak peek is on the screen. I haven't shared my screen yet. My bad. I'll do that after I put the link in. But it is, I sail my ship alone with all the dreams I own.
So basically, from what I'm seeing, is Misk Odyssey confirmed, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. That's the what?
That's the holiday.
That's
the alpha. I mean,
I know.
He's being.
But
what do you guys think of the? You know, FC, do me a favor. I put the other picture in there too. Can you put that one up of the original concept? Okay. What do you guys think about the difference between the original and that one? What do you guys think?
Honestly, I'm just happy that a Misk has a bigger cockpit window than a slit. Like
Yeah, you can't see the other concept on Discord, but you can see it in the stream. So that's the other whole A on the stream right now. And I'm gonna go back to the other one real quick, and that's the sneak peek.
Yeah.
And
I mean, look at that.
It's really close. I mean,
well, yeah, but they've streamlined it a lot. They streamlined it a lot.
I mean, it's missing the turret, but you can clearly see there's a giant hole right there under the cockpit.
Right, where they took the turret out.
Yeah, it's just like missing.
And look at the legs. Look at the difference in the legs between the two. And also the area where the wings span out from that in the middle section now are just slightly different as well.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of disconcerting.
Why?
I mean, I understand that the leg design's different, but the whole A and B were designed to land.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they keep that design with the whole B, which definitely has the expanding center section,
so does
with
this
the redesigned legs, that's the A.
No, but the A expands too.
B
but what's
has
the concern?
that same way.
But what's the concern?
Basically, with the redesigned legs, I'm not so sure how they're gonna make land when they're fully loaded.
When it's fully loaded,
being shorter.
Yeah, but when it's fully loaded, there's only boxes to the left, right, and top. The bottom's not impacted on a B.
Right.
B is B on the concept designs, top, left, right, and bottom.
You don't have to use it.
No, but you don't have to use. That's just it. You don't have to. You don't have to use the. You don't have to use the bottom.
That's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you're right though. If it was, it would be a slight difficulty.
Now that I have the real model, not the real model, but the current model on the screen, I do like the cockpit,
Thank you.
It's more bubble.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
like the design of the roof that they have that they're showing.
Well, you can clearly see, and exactly, Fast Cart, you could clearly see that they made efforts to make the cockpit a lot more pleasing when it comes to visibility. You don't see the metal mesh in front of the entire cockpit in this one like you saw in the first concept. You can finally see and so it looks like you can finally walk at least a 180 around that glass area and won't have any obstructions. That's one good thing. Griff said something about streamline the A. It looks a little bit thicker. They widened it a little bit, and it looks a lot sleeker. This is a nice looking ship compared to when it first was concepted. So kudos for them. I'm encouraged to see what's inside it actually.
Okay.
No turret.
Do any
No
of you all
turret.
own it? Do any of you all own a whole A?
No.
I got the A through the D.
After
through
seeing this redesign, I'm definitely kind of in the market.
Kind of curious about it. Yeah. You know, weirdly enough, I mean, one of the things about the whole series that has always been kind of disconcerting to me is people have always looked at them as being very vulnerable ships. The first thing you hear people say is all the cargo is outside. But if you look at the lore and history of these ships, they are the most used ships in the universe, which means that if people are robbing them all the time, they would not be using them. And so I think that there's an assumption that because the cargo is external, that they are more vulnerable than any other ship.
And if you actually look at the lore of the Hull E, you'll actually see that there is a quote from a producer of a movie that they bought a Hull E in order to make it explode in the final scene. So they rigged this whole thing up with explosives, detonate it, and all that happens is it breaks one of the little tongues off the side.
Yep. Colossal is a real big advocate for the hulls in the sense of their durability. We were just having this conversation last week about the Endeavor, how the Endeavor is supposed to be able to withstand meteor storms. So I think that people underestimate these ships a little bit. The specs on these, just to give you an idea, and this is another reason why some people, particularly those of you who want to do cargo and freight, might want to lick your chops a little bit. The cargo capacity on the Hull A is 48, right? And that ship only costs, I think, $60. That's the price for it right now. Is it 50 or 60?
60.
60 now? That's 60. Yes, I said $60, right? $60. Okay. But if you go up one step to the Hull B, which is $90, the difference, there you go, 384 SCU for $90. That's a lot of cargo compared to dealing with any of the Constellation series, any of the Freelancer series, and you're doing that for $90. So it's something that you all might want to give thought to, consideration to.
By the time I have my fleet, the Hull B will probably be my cheapest ship outside of the 315P.
I have the B and the D in the series.
Okay.
Just for that very reason, the disparity between the A and the B was like enormous. It was only like, it was like 50% more, and you get like a gajillion more cargo units.
And you can still go down to planetary if you want to with the B, which is nice. And yeah, it's great. Okay.
That's
something
why
to think about.
That's why I'm kind of looking at the B now. I'm going, ooh, hey.
Hi,
$384. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, very cool.
So moving on, I don't have a screen up for this one, but I just want to say that there's a screenshot contest going on. The Intergalactic Aerospace 2951 screenshot contest. The expo is upon us once again. To go alongside the Free Fly event for IAE, we're launching a screenshot contest for the entirety of the event from November 19th to December 1st, not 31st, but just the 1st. You'll have a chance to win a ship or vehicle every day, and I'm going to put the link in Twitch chat. So anyone participating in that?
9.
I got like 3 in right now.
Oh, cool.
Oh, really?
And I think
good luck.
I didn't miss I missed the RSI one. I think I might do one right now.
Oh, I need to log in today. I've been logging in every day, but I haven't logged in today yet, so I need to do that after the show. All right, so next up, I found a certain thing on the LA Convention Center website. Yeah, CitizenCon 2022, September 24th.
Supposedly right now that is a placeholder, but they did confirm that it will be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just, but the date?
not
Yeah,
the,
they said it's
the date is a
placeholder.
placeholder, yeah, but not the
Okay,
location.
just,
Mhm.
The-
So we do at least know that it will be in Los Angeles. So
But
but
that's
why the
good.
24th? Why September?
No.
They said
It's not.
placeholder
It's a
date.
placeholder. Yeah, it's just a placeholder. Yeah.
Let me read what Jay Capella said after I posted it. He said, just a placeholder much as it was last year, or this year rather. They had a placeholder in August for the LA Convention Center this year. And, they canceled it because of everything going on. But it was just a placeholder. And he said, so I asked him, so I shouldn't book a hotel right now? He said, definitely not. And I asked him if I could quote him or not. And he said, yes. He said, yeah, I can quote him. They're not just ready. They're just not ready to announce anything related to CitizenCon quite yet.
It's still way too early.
Confusing part, because once again they did that placeholder last year, and people like me went ahead and purchased early, and then all of a sudden they canceled, and because of the way how I purchased things, I wasn't able to get my money back for the freaking flight.
Yeah.
So they.
You weren't the only one.
You weren't the only one.
Yep.
That's the whole reason how I discovered it, because I booked with Alaska Airlines. So yeah, I'm in the same boat. But
We learned a valuable lesson, but at least we do know that it will be in LA next year. That's the good news.
Again, that we didn't have Delta this time, or Delta was starting to come out, and one thing I did read from the BBC today, not to put everybody down, but there is a new heavily mutated variant in South Africa, which the WHO should name tomorrow. And it's it's very mutated. So hopefully they can figure something out for that one. But it's surprisingly different.
Well,
So,
let's keep our fingers crossed. That's all we can do.
Yep.
One last note.
Don't buy airplane tickets. That's all I'm saying.
One last note before we move on. I just want to say, if you look at the screen right now, I have the September 24th is showing another convention right now with the Run Show USA on Saturday 24th. But if you go to October the 8th, you can't see my mouse, but the 8th is free. So, yeah, it's a placeholder, but they could move it to the 8th if they wanted to.
Okay.
All right, moving on. I just wanted to say that they have new starter packages or discount starter packages. I'll share in Discord, but the Nomad starter package is $76. That's for War Bond, and the site credit one is $96. So you save $19.
Fast Card, maybe it'll be good for you to share why players who already have been in the game for a while, why would they want to buy a starter package?
Because it's been foretold or showed rather that for every package you have in your account, you're able to create an NPC that people can swap in and out of when you log in. So if you have an NPC on your ship and you want to have a friend join in, they can just pop in and join your ship.
Does that make sense, you all?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
And also, the other thing is, you can set your NPC to be your next of kin. So if your main character dies, then that character becomes your main character, and you can customize it using the normal character creation tool.
Now, Fast Card, Pops is asking you to elaborate on your first point that you mentioned about why.
Fifth Space is in his Redeemer, and he has an NPC co-pilot at the moment. say like props, you decided to log in late or coming later, you can log in and take the place of that of face-to-face NPC on the Redeemer.
Now, okay, so any starter, I mean, whether or not it's like a starter package for that would, I think did they have the Rock as a starter pack? Did they? Maybe they
Rock?
didn't.
No.
Yeah, maybe
No,
they
I don't
didn't.
think the Rock
not a
had a
rock.
starter package.
Not a
No.
rock.
Yeah, no Rock.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
it had
I
to
thought,
say.
yeah,
It had to be a package
has
that
to be
said
a starter pack.
that gives you UEC, and that's how you can. That's the one.
Right.
That's one way you
Yeah.
can tell. The
Okay.
other way you can tell is it said Star Citizen Digital Download, and if it said Star Citizen Digital Download, that's a packet. That's a package. And this one is good because it had Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, so you can get two for one almost.
Okay, I'm a little confused
Okay.
now. I thought that
Mm.
each pack, like pack that you have to get in the game comes with like 4 or 5 different. Don't you automatically get like a couple NPCs per character?
No,
No.
just
No.
one per package.
Mm-hmm.
One per package.
So if you have, the way
Mm.
I understand it, if you have 3 packages or 3 packs, you have your own character and then an automatic crew of 2 NPCs
Just
that you
one.
can,
Just one per
and
pack.
from right, but the other 2, if you have 3, you have
Right.
yourself plus 2 others.
Yeah, you have
If you
3.
have 3
Yeah,
packs.
yeah.
And then from, I think it was in Death of Spaceman where it explained that you can hop around between those 3 characters if you
Mm-hmm.
needed to.
But
Now, please keep in mind, this is all what they would like to do.
Right. Exactly. Good
Yeah.
They
point.
would like
Also, what,
to do
7
it.
years old, 8 years old now?
Exactly.
Alright.
Exactly.
my concern is that you know how long it takes you to get out the door these days. You know, you have to get your stuff, you have to get your food, you have to put your gear on, you have to transfer your gear for that one character to get on the ship, and now you have to do it for 2 or 3 characters or 5 characters, however many packages you have. And then if you're all on one ship and you all get killed, well, then you have to spend like hours or at least 1 or 2 to get everything where you were before.
Yeah, to a certain degree, that if you could operate that way, one of the things that people are going to begin to do is change the way they've been playing the game. Over time, the idea is that all of your ships are prepped and ready to go. That you have, if there's a certain suit you like to wear or a certain flight suit, you may have 8 of those in 8 different ships or 2 in 4 different ships. So that every time you start the game, you're not having to go and do the whole restock. Right now, yeah, we are doing that because we're getting it going. But one day I literally came on and spent time loading all 4 of my ships with all the same weapons, guns, and everything so that they would be ready to go. And that's kind of just like in real life, that's what you would have to do. You'd have to do that. And I understand sometimes maybe people have that one favorite ship, that daily flyer that they like to fly. And you're absolutely right. If you lose that ship, yeah, it's going to be a pain in the butt to know that just like not only those internals, but just like we got to get new components again, do all that stuff all over again. And to a certain degree, these are the things that are going to create a different type of balance in the game so that when people not only are victims, but also the people who attack people, they have the same things at risk. Do they want to go through all that stuff for low risk targets or targets that, aren't valuable? Or if I die, it's going to take me an hour to get my ship back together if it's not worth it. So like right now, I haven't heard many people talking about people attacking people. I've heard about piracy, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about blowing each other up and ramming each other at ports and stuff anymore because people have too much to lose now for the silliness. And that dynamic's going to change more as we become more dependent upon this whole inventory thing in the game. At least in my opinion, I think that's what's going to happen.
Zaylan Maru, thank you for the gifted sub. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. If you have a friend who needs a package, or you want to get a few more packages so you can take advantage of the feature when it comes out, that they're available. And they come with 120 months insurance, so instead of the normal 6 months. So, win-win.
Cool.
All right, so moving on. Next we have merchandise. Merchandise. I'm gonna put the link in quick chat.
While you're pulling up the merchandise, can I ask a question of everybody? Is that okay?
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling about IAE so far? We're past the halfway point.
I was going to talk about that later, but okay.
Well, you didn't have it on the list. I'm looking at the list. It's not on the list. I won't talk about it. Take it back. Don't answer the question. We'll ask it later.
No, yeah, it's fine because it was right after that. So yeah, but what do people think about IE so far?
Anybody?
Hello, can anyone hear me?
No.
I think I guess I'll start.
Your answer.
There are parts of it that seems a little bit old, I guess, because it's kind of the same setup. We've seen the same ships. The intro lobby when you get off the elevators is like amazing. They've updated that a lot. The 3D graphic there is way better than it was last year. The stairwells, when you get it looks like you're going into Quantum. When you walk up the steps, it would be nice if you could go into when we went to Quantum now it actually worked, because now we can't Quantum in the game, not so often. But I do like my RAM is getting destroyed at Microtech, New Babbage. I run with 32 gigabytes, and my RAM sometimes is up to like 88%. So if you're running with 16, it's like I don't think you're going to be able to do it. So, but for the most part, it's pretty good. I mean, yeah.
The only thing I would like, when you go in the hologram to see the hologram, the ships that are in the little case, I just wish the ships were a little lower so you can kind of get a better look at the top of the ships and kind of examine the top of the ships better. But everything else is basically the same. That's the only.
Well, so I have an idea for IAE and its future endeavors.
Wait, before you answer that, because that was going to be my next question. What can we do to make it better? So I know where you're going to go. Give me 1 second. Pops, let me give you a trick. You can always use the camera. If you go external on F4, hold down F4, and then use the page up, page down, and that will raise your camera to a height that's above it, and you can actually be able to move around and see the whole ship that way. You can't do it from first person, but if you go external F4, hold down F4 and use page up, and your camera will elevate up, and you'll be able to see. You can bring it up to a nice level and even it. But that's the good way, cheating way to do it.
Okay, no, thank you.
You're more than welcome.
I'm trying to jump up and down, and it's not doing it.
No, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I did that too.
You can also use Pops the Z button to help tilt it in different directions as well.
Get your angles. Yep.
All right, thanks.
Just to add to what Admiral was saying, there's also like a lot more NPCs interacting. Also, there's a lot more animations on their end too.
Yeah, I was trying to look into the not the cockpit, but the other end of the 400i, and I couldn't get into it. So that tip helps. I'll try to get into it because I was in it on for 2 days, so I still have time.
I did like the theme that they did this year. I know some people felt it was a little subtle, but I liked the whole thing with the clouds, the star fields that they have in the ceilings in the different rooms. They've got the one hologram, of Microtech and the asteroid, which I thought were pretty cool.
Colored holograms now.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the animated logo that they have for it this year with the ships flying up through it, which I thought was pretty cool.
And the moon, the actual Microtech turning, and they had the station and the hologram. That was cool.
Yes. So Colossal, go ahead. Ops Chief, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I like as far as their marketing goes, they're kind of pacing themselves, and that's another thing that I kind of noticed compared to others, where they're not throwing everything out at once. They're kind of pacing themselves a little better.
Yeah. Do you guys think that they shot themselves in the foot a little bit by allowing the backers to see it before it launched during the beta? I mean, during the PTU? Do you think that kind of stole some thunder for people?
Yes.
Okay.
It could have. I mean, because at one point they just had it open for Evocati.
Right.
And that I don't know if they did the IE that way. I think they did Invictus that way. I can't remember if they did IE. I want to say they did
last year. They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that helped test it out. So when you go ahead and open it up to everybody to come in at one point, I mean, obviously it didn't hurt them when it came for the sales, but I guess in terms of people showing up, it may have counteracted that.
Yeah.
But if you don't mind me to go ahead and go
ahead
answer
and
your
jump into it.
question.
Yeah, let's answer that question next. What do you guys feel could improve? What could they do to, draw not only new players, because new players seem to be pretty excited about it. It's the veterans. So what do you guys think they could do to make it better?
So I'm from Florida, and I'm from, the entertainment capital of the world. And we have Disney World here and Universal here. Even NASA has its own exhibit with the Endeavor. The Endeavor is retired. And our students went to, we got a grant, and we took our 6th grade class before COVID hit to NASA. And we looked at the Endeavor exhibit. And I think the Endeavor exhibit was one of the most, I would say, the presentation was probably one of the most passionate I've seen. And what I think CIG needs to do is incorporate some of those things that we see at Disney World, at Universal, some of those attractions or exhibits. They usually have a gathering room where maybe 100 and something so people go ahead and gather. They close everything up, and then all of a sudden, pitch black comes up, and you see a screen. And it could be a screen of the guy coming in talking about the pioneer. You saw his presentation. That was a passionate presentation. Had me in tears a little bit, right? And then so if they can go ahead and make that type of a setting in the IAE, and nobody can leave anywhere until that presentation is over with. And then when that presentation is over with, the screen actually opens up east to west or up and down, doesn't matter. It actually opens up into the exhibit hall. And then everybody can go ahead and go into the exhibit hall or into the ship that they're going to. Maybe certain doors can open up and say, this is the Endeavor, this is the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And people can go ahead and pick, or you just go ahead and go to the exhibit hall for one, and then those close back up, and they repeat every hour or so. So that way, nobody can just run into the exhibition hall like that anymore. They have to go ahead and participate in that presentation and then be able to open up. So it could be time. They did it with the with Invictus when they had those They somewhat did it with Invictus when they had the little TVs up there saying Javelin's going to be here at this time and the Idris is going to be here at this time. So if they can kind of do that with IAE and have it more like a presentation type theme park feel to it, I think that will definitely move it to a new level.
I got to jump on that though, and I would have to add to that is hopefully maybe down the line things, server stability and all of that they could put in some nice dynamic missions. Maybe Nine Tails might try to come in and disrupt it. Xeno, whomever, because you got all of those ships that you can rent, like the Ares, that day in particular, you can go out and rent, and then folks can just say, oh man, it's an event happening, okay, I can put this Ares to use, or so on and so forth, and I mean, and engage folks,
So, Fitz, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. I'm going to put back a little bit on that because we have a free flight going on, and the learning curve for Star Citizen is steep enough. I don't know if we want to start throwing different events at people as well, because we're getting. I don't know if you noticed, but on the crowdfunding spreadsheet, they keep track of how many people, how many accounts are made per day. They're making 5,000 new accounts per day doing IEE for the free fly. So I don't.
Well, see, to a degree, though. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, I was going to say, but to the point, I think what the question was a little bit more market, not toward the new player, but the question was, what do we do to engage veteran players more so that they want to participate? Like Colossal was saying, I know Colossal was thinking about the Haunted Mansion when you mentioned about, how you have to see the little presentation before you go in kind of thing, right? I would love to have seen, you guys remember when they did the Invictus, remember when we went to the 890, they had the hosts that were there that explained what was going on at the different locations on the Javelin. I would like to see something like that. Maybe representatives from Origin or Drake are there, talking to you about the ships and things like that.
Right.
Exactly. Just more interactive things other than just seeing ships that if we don't own them, we've been on them before. Everybody's looking for the new thing. But what makes me want to come back and see the freaking Caterpillar when I've seen it the last 5 years? Maybe it's the presentations that goes on. all types of things that they can do to get us veterans to want to keep coming
Well,
back and
if I
visiting.
if I could if I could just say
You
this for the
Sure.
veterans and for people, what's the one thing that's missing? You want to bring people into the show itself, and you want to have them stick around for a little while. One thing that they could do now today: put loot boxes, hide them around, put Easter eggs, have people look
Easter
around,
eggs. Wow,
14
yeah.
people out in there, and just stick around. You know,
That
and then
would be cool.
while they're looking for stuff, they might interact with each other.
And
Right,
like
and have an amusement area within the IAE. If they're going to look around, have maybe they can have just an example. Maybe they can have a go-kart area with the little bumper
The
cars they got in
buggies.
there
Oh,
with the
that'd be
buggies,
cool.
where people
Yeah.
can go ahead and just go in there and just play around the buggies, and then you have to leave. If you don't leave, they could do the same thing, Griff, that they did at what was the Javelin or the Idris when they had you come in there, they got you, you had to leave, and you didn't leave, and we all tested that theory. What happened when we didn't leave? We ended up at Clasher.
Right.
Oh,
So,
another
I mean,
thing.
Oh, you ended up at Clasher?
Yeah.
yes.
Another thing I was thinking about too is I don't know if you remember. I think it was last Drake Day or the day before, the year before. I can't remember. But they showed a video of people dancing in the outturned cargo bays of a Caterpillar. Like maybe something even like that,
That sounds
not necessarily dancing, just like some sort of kind of, oh well, welcome to the 890. You'd see from the outside window just people partying on this 890 or whatever. Make it living, make it real.
Have an event tied into it. At 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock, everybody show up in their top hats and monocles, and maybe have some of those loot boxes at the doors or drinks and stuff like that, where everybody's at least partying for that hour. You see disco lights running through the place, and then it's over with, and everybody has to get off the ship. So there's plenty of things they could do to go ahead and keep the excitement going within that.
Yeah, I agree with Griff. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fast. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the point about the go-kart got me, because I think the venue is too big. Like, it takes like 2 minutes to go from one side to the other, and when you're running, I want a Great Cat PTV to move around in that thing, or maybe make the venue a little bit smaller, more manageable. That's just me.
Well, they got those areas, Fast Car, that they closed up, right? That some areas, some ships, some manufacturers have a lot of ships, so they do open up those areas. Maybe they could just go ahead and open up those areas and put that event in there to at least accommodate for the size they have. So there's so many things they can do. Now, I know they're busy. I know they're trying to go ahead and develop a game. I know they're trying to go put things in place. I know this is a marketing thing, and I know we're just doing some theory crafting to help them improve some things like that. But if they got the time to invest in that, I think it'd be well worth it if they did that.
Well, they also could just open the whole thing up. Just open them all up. If we're doing it with Argo and all, if there are multiple days with 3 or 4 manufacturers because they don't have a lot of stuff. I mean, obviously we don't have to keep them all with one. Like Aegis and Anvil could be one day, and have the entire place open up. So I don't know.
I wanted to say something.
Well, Aegis.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to kind of what Griff is mentioned. Maybe if you had a hologram, because sometimes there's a lot of information that the hologram could give you. Maybe even a hologram tour. Not necessarily the hologram was good, but send you from give you this particular information on the ship here. Go up in the ship. This is the medical bay. Give you information there. That way you get a tour. You get a better understanding of a ship. And plus that would, to me, in my opinion, because just walking about a ship and let's take the 890 jump, for example. I would never be interested, but if I had a hologram there explaining to me the ship, what it does, things like that, I would become a lot more interested in it than just looking at it as a big yacht. It's pretty, gives me more information.
Yeah, like the 3D engine at Crusader, the one that opens up. If you had that, like the holograms, oh boy.
Exactly.
Also, Griff, also on top of that, and thanks Pops for that, because that just put this idea in my head. Don't they have those? Don't they have those old arcade games on the interest
Yeah, on
that
the
they said
website.
we wouldn't be able to play. So
The
why
javelin, right?
they could
There was javelin.
they could go ahead and put a station up there for people to go ahead and do the game, maybe some skins that you can only do if you played that game, right? At that event. Or they can go ahead and have and thank you, Pops, for mentioning it. You said something about the doctor, right? How do you guys got that board game Operation? Right, you
Yeah.
play Operation,
Okay.
and so that maybe they could have some beds in the medical field in dealing with that, where you could pretend that you're the doctor and you have to do one experiment, which is maybe heal a patient. So almost like a tutorial, but like a game that'll get you some type of a skin or some type of a perk or something like that, and you go in to do that. So those are things that they can put in the gameplay that they have in game and use that as a game.
Now, Colossal,
Yeah.
that idea only works if the patient you're operating on, the nose turned red when you messed up.
Yeah, I think I think
That would be
they're
fun.
lacking in that particular area on explaining the what the ships do. And if you had a day where you would spend a lot more time that you would go from ship to ship instead of just walking by. That's nothing. You would go there and be interested and see what the hologram has to say, and that's and you would learn a lot more.
Red Wolf 1, thank you for the 5 subscription.
Wow.
Thank you,
Red
appreciate it.
Wolf. Thank you so much. We
Put
truly
gameplay of
appreciate
building
it.
in there. Put a gameplay of building in there and put Legos. Get a partnership with Lego. Put Legos in there.
listen.
And then and call it the Pioneer. You know what I'm saying? Because the Pioneer's going to build
There you
stuff
go.
anyways.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, so many things they can do.
Yeah. That's true.
Spitfire, you got something you wanted to say?
Yeah, one thing I was wanting to say also is I think that if you've never have, okay, watch a streamer, not any one particular one, but watch a streamer who has just went to the IAE for the first time. Okay, 2 days. I watched a guy the other day. 4 hours he spent between the two halls, just walking through all the ships, and it kind of helps you look at the IAE the way that you did in the past. You know, when you're like, oh, it's amazing.
Yep, no, agreed. And that's why I said, for people who, for the first time, they'll come here and be just totally fascinated, right? That's why I was a little bit concerned, because by them giving it to us in PTU, I know that it definitely took some steam out of it. Even though I was glad to still, I've come every day, I've visited every day, but I'm also looking for what can they do to make this, because originally people did see this as just a marketing opportunity. But I think that it's also in its own way become, and we know it is, it's a part of the lore. And I would hope that it's not just about, the aspect of let's run over here to see what the latest ship is, but that like you, all of you gave great examples of how they can make it much more interactive for players, so that coming over here is literally an event, an annual event that we look forward to see what they've done differently, not just in the sense of what's the latest ship, but the convention itself, So that's good. That's the reason why I was asking. Those are all good suggestions you guys gave. CIG, I hope you're listening, because they gave you guys some good stuff tonight.
That's right, including costume days, CIG, costume days. Maybe you can have the Furbies. I'm sorry, everybody else jump into some type of outfit on a particular day.
The
going up.
the furries, you mean the furries?
The furries. Then you go to furries.
Well, you know what? Not to be funny. Colossal, to your point, what happens if on Argo Day, if you're wearing an Argo shirt, you get a prize? Just little simple things like that can happen. We just want it to be more interactive. Pops said it earlier, not just to come over and see the ship. I love the idea, Pops, of what you said about the holograms on different levels on ships, because they did that with the Javelin, right? You went to the lunchroom, there was somebody. You went to the turret area, there was somebody. It doesn't have to be, like you said, a moving hologram, but just to do that would be really representatives. Like if you went to a car show that are sitting there telling you this is the latest model, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, bring your org day. I mean,
org day. That'd be cool, right?
That'd be fantastic if they had org day, and then have people come up there and they said that they have little platforms, big platforms. And everybody just come up there and they just take a picture all at that time between those orgs. I mean, that'd be fantastic to do that.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
That would end wonderfully, especially with test.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
This would end wonderfully.
We'll close the place.
I don't know. I don't know if we close it or not.
890 jump just slams into the top of the convention center for some unknown reason.
Okay, so that was a huge detour from merchandise, but that was a good conversation. So thank you, Griffin, for that. But on back onto merchandise. Has anyone bought anything? Or thinking about buying something?
Do
I bought the skull cap, the little for wintertime. That was it.
Do I
Yep,
want
the beanie?
Do I want the whiskey set? Yes.
You know what? The concierge version of that disappeared in no time flat, and that's a real nice one. The other one's nice too, though. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice set. Both of them are nice. Mm-hmm.
Oh, here it is, the chairman thing. Oh, yeah, there's a sold out right there.
Yeah, we mentioned this the other day too. If you guys are interested in any of the shirts from before, they're all on sale right now. At least I know they are for subscribers. The shirts, many of them are down to $10, where normally they were $30. Yeah. So if you see any of the shirt, and they do have a lot of the sizes still in, but they're obviously trying to move that stock out. So if you're interested in any of the shirts, they're usually very good, high quality shirts. The one I have on right now, this isn't the Star System. The one I had on last night is one, and they're usually very good quality. So
I'm trying to scroll down to find it.
As far as new ships, I got what is it? The name, the cargo one. The name skips me now.
Argo?
The Argo. I just got that one, but I passed on the Spartan though. I got too many vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So on the screen right now, I have the picture of the Nautilus and the Mantis, and also the Star Citizen T-shirt. Men and women are $10.50.
Yeah, so and even like the Carrick shirt, it was normally $80. It's $36 now. You know, they sliced a lot of the water bottles. There's a lot of stuff that they slashed the prices on right now. So it's a good time to. And actually, the prices were they actually got sliced twice because the prices were higher at the beginning of IAE, and then they dropped them some more. So that's something to think about.
Griff, what sizes do these shirts?
Up to 4X. They vary up to 4X.
Really?
Up to 4X, and it just usually a matter of when they go out of stock. Sometimes you'll see it where they still have certain ones and certain ones are gone, but they usually always go up to 4X in size.
Yeah, last night Aubrey was saying if you get a shirt, you might want to buy one a size or two.
A little bit larger.
A larger.
Yep.
All right. So after that, I want to talk about CCU. I'm going to change the screen in Discord. But yeah, so there's a lot of CCU discount you can take advantage of. And there are a couple of sites that helps you out to find them. Hold on a sec. There it is. So yes. So on the screen right now, I have an example of the 300i to Spartan. The Spartan is RSI credit $80, but for Warbond is $65. So if you get a 300i to Spartan Warbond, you only pay $5. So you save $15 or so if you do it that way. And the other some of them are. Oh no, the one that came out today, the Argo, the Raft. That is.
I just want to slow you down there a little, fast car, because just to reiterate, you're only spending $5 now, and using the 300i as where's the collateral coming from?
Yeah, a placeholder.
As a placeholder to buy the Spartan. That's $65.
So if you want to do the Cutlass Black to the Raft, that's $10. But the actual Raft is $125. So you're saving $15 if you want to So what you do is you got one of these CCUs and say you want to go up to an MSR or some kind of a Vanguard Warden or something like that. So a ship higher than what you currently have. You buy one of these CCUs for $5 or $10, and you can save $15 to $30 in the long run. So I'm going to get a MSR on Drake Day because I'm looking for a CCU to come in, even though the MSR is 260, the total amount of the ship probably be around 130 for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's all I wanted to bring up. After that, we have the.
You know what, FC?
Yeah.
If you want to, we can skip the preview since it's going to be in the ISC. Is that okay?
Okay. So we're gonna go to ISC now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, you what about the Argo Wrath preview thing? Oh, that's the one you wanted to skip.
Yeah. Since they covered it in ISC today, you know what I mean.
Okay.
We can just go to that. If that makes it cool.
All right. So we're going to ISC then.
Mm-hmm. But up.
Do I have it up? Do I have it up on the? No, I'll fix it. But here we go.
One of the big roles in both real-world life and in Star Citizen is cargo hauling.
We've got lots of different ships in the game, and plenty of them can carry cargo, but we don't have many that are small and dedicated to cargo.
And this is where the Argo Raft really comes into play. So the Reinforced Advanced Freight Transport from Argo is a 2-player cargo transport ship.
It's a very beginner sort of vessel. It's got limited cargo capacity, but it's designed purely for the purpose of trying to transport your goods from A to B, while keeping you as safe as possible.
The Argo style is a strong style. You kind of know what you're going to get, and I think that's what helps really sell the ship's feel.
The rear half of the ship is definitely very contrasting to the front. I feel like one of our designers put it best when they described it as essentially an oil rig with engines strapped onto the back of it.
The Raft is primarily Argo's counter to the Freelancer.
Obviously, the Freelancers are far better equipped weapon-wise, but the Argo is far better in the armor capacity. It's not going to do well in a fight because its weaponry is quite small. It has a remote turret that the co-pilot controls that has size 3s on it, and it does have 2 size 1 slots that the pilot can equip something in, although it doesn't come with those weapons as standard. The ship itself can take up to 96 SCU and 3 32 SCU cargo containers that are held on the back of the ship. So at the moment, the cargo containers are actually a fixed part of the ship until we actually get the cargo refactor, at which point you'll then be able to remove them. There are other ships that are going to use external cargo like the Hull series, but the first one that will actually go out into the universe will be the Raft. It has dedicated VTOLs that rotate to give it that extra lift, regardless of what the atmosphere is in the planet you're trying to take off from. It's going to be able to actually get out there even in the more heavy atmospheres. It has independent landing gear, the legs, the typical Argo legs that give it that nice firm support regardless of the terrain that you're landing on. As you go inside the ship, it's split into 2 primary areas, the functional side and the side for the crew. So the functional side consists of the bridge, the airlock, which has got ship-to-ship docking collar on it, engineering, and then the cargo control cab that's at the rear of the ship that gives you a nice view out onto the 3 cargo containers. The side for the crew consists of habitation, which has a nice chow line, a seating area for you and your teammate to relax. racks, as well as individual beds that double function as an escape pod in times when you might need it. As well as a fully fitted armory for 2 people that has 2 suit locker spaces for each of you, as well as weapon racks, and of course a bathroom.
I think the interior kind of was really successful in making sure that every space has a function. No matter where you're sitting in the ship, it feels like a functional ship. It feels like the ship has purpose.
If you think about the real world and how you want to transport goods, if you want to be in and out because that's your job, that's your profession, you don't want to have to open up your ship and let someone come on board and mess about. You just want to drop your actual goods and then move on to your next job, and that's something that the raft will allow you to do.
The reinforced armored freight transport from Argo is the latest straight-to-flyable vehicle that made its debut at this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. And if you haven't seen it in action already, you can do so now by jumping into the persistent universe. But up next, another ship making...
Okay, we're gonna pause it right there and mute and put it on loop. So let's go in order. I'm a Kusanagi. What are your thoughts about the Argo? Not the Argo, but the raft. Sorry.
The Argo raft. Yes.
It's an Argo.
I think it's a very cool ship. I think it's going to help out with moving cargo a lot quicker than having to use like whether they be MPUVs or SRVs or whatnot. From one, say, the station to a planet or wherever you need to bring it. I'm just not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure like the overall purpose it's going to be used for. Right now they just are a little. They drive like it's like flying an elephant. So I'm hoping I know they'll work with that, but yeah. I was on the fence. Like I don't think I'm going to get them now. I'm kind of looking forward to MISC, so we'll see. I'm just gonna pass this one up.
Okay. Fifth space. What are your thoughts?
I think it's excuse me. So I think it's a cool ship. I opted not to buy it. I know it's pretty cheap. And everything. I may consider it down the line. Because it does look like something to put into my arsenal as far as making money, something to make some quick change or something like that. If somebody needs something here or there, you could just, like they said, you just drop your cargo and go on to the next thing, where you're not sitting somewhere, like with the Hall series, the bigger ones that I'm talking about, waiting for that to get loaded up. But I think it's a cool ship, It fits, has a place.
Colossal?
Better buy it now before she jacks up in price. I was really shocked with the price. When she was at 135, Griff and I was talking, and we were thinking that she was going to be around 250. And so it was quite surprising. Yeah, it was quite surprising to see that. So I jumped at it. I think I mean, remember, armor tech is not in game yet. So if this ship is going to have reinforced armor, and you're able to haul these types of cargoes and things like that without having to get out your ship, I think she was pleasing to have with one haul of just, what did I haul? Gold. I got an extra $3 or $4 grand just with one haul. So that was with the full cargo. So if you're trying to start off, I think this is a very good ship for you to have if you're concerned about somebody shooting you out in the sky. Also, when it comes to maneuverability, I disagree with Admiral just a little bit. I mean, she's a hauler, so she's not expected to move quite, sturdily, but I think she moves very good for her size. You got to use the VTOLs. I've flown her for about a good half an hour to 45 minutes, and I was impressed with her maneuverability for the size of ship that she was for what she's supposed to be. I'm not expecting her to be on a Gladius or a light fighter or even a medium fighter or even a heavy fighter, but she moves better than the Prospector.
Colossal,
Yeah.
on that note, I have a question. So we've seen TIG or specifically Xylo show off the ship to some of the streamers early in the week, and when he took off, he took off. So that was something that was like a developer mode for the ship, right? It doesn't actually move that fast.
No, it moves
It
that
moves
fast.
pretty fast. Yes.
It moves that fast.
It moves
Yeah.
fast.
Yes, it
Yes.
does.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
not gonna sit there and give you a different side of a say, hey, I'm a developer, so I'm gonna tweak it. I haven't seen them do that. So whatever they show you is what you're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
The VTOLs, to be totally honest, those are like super good. I mean, that thing like takes off in a second. It's just Microtech. It's just it's a little slow. Yeah.
I mean, that's to be expected.
I've tried it at Microtech. I've tried it at Lorville. I've tried it at the moons. I tried it at Aberdeen. I think she does pretty well for type of caliber ship she's in. So it's interesting.
There's another thing that we haven't factored in here. They talked about the fact that this ship is designed specifically with strong engines to be able to escape atmosphere better than most ships. And we don't have the weight factors in the game yet. So it's hard to gauge that based upon where the game is now. A lot of ships are going to perform a lot differently once weight is truly built into the game. And so we may find out that this speed is actually very fast compared to other ships when they've become laden and they're trying to leave certain atmospheres, especially with different gravities and blah, 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 blah. I do want to encourage everybody, when you get a chance, on the Argo page for this particular ship, look at the page that says Haul Like a Pro. If you all didn't get a chance to look at it, you'll see that you still haven't seen this ship in its full capacity. The legs extend even higher than what they do when we fly the ship now, so that containers can be put underneath it. This ship is amazing in the sense of all the mechanics and stuff. So for some people, this isn't going to be their thing. Industrial, for some people, they could care less about it. And I get that. That's cool. Industrial people are slobbering right now because this is going to be something for people who like doing that level of support. And I think this is a good thing because it's showing us that there are going to be some people that'll say, hey, I can appreciate the ship, but it's not for me. Not getting it. Right. Other people are going to be like, hey, give me the keys to that sucker. I'm ready to go. You know?
Right. Griff, one more thing. I'm encouraged to see if CIG is going to make a support vessel that go along in tandem with that. For example, trucks with flatbeds. If you're on the surface, right? Can you? I mean,
like the ones we've got that are in Orison. You know how you've got the ones that the cargo containers come on
correct,
and land on the remote ones and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So if you're going to be able to go ahead and drop those off where people can just go ahead and go, and you talk about the legs, imagine being over one of those mobile flatbeds, right? You put it on there, boom, boom, boom. You go ahead and take off, and you go ahead and go. Well, that thing can go ahead and go to a Pioneer or things like that, and restock it or things like that. I'm interested to see what further they can go ahead and do with land vehicles on that.
Yeah.
Land vehicles.
Next up, we have Opchi. What are your thoughts?
I love this ship. If anything, only for the aesthetics. I think it's going to be a practical ship as well. I love the interior, love the exterior. Bluesy in chat just kind of triggered something with me where he mentioned that it will be able to expand. And if you look at the ship,
you're roboting.
Only connect.
Ooh, Ops. Yeah, Ops, your audio's really
Can you hear me now?
Nah, it's still roboty.
Roboting.
How about now?
No.
It's better.
Everybody's home watching stuff on their
All right,
iPads.
testing 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Well, it got better, then it got worse.
All right, I'll just shut up then.
No, we can hear you. Go ahead. Try one more time.
All
Just
right,
say it short.
what I was trying to say is that Bluesy mentioned something about expandability of the ship.
No.
Okay,
I know
I'll stop.
But we heard what you said. Bluesy was talking. Yeah, you said Bluesy said something about the expandability of the ships. He said, I know that, but the raft can't expand, is what he said.
I'll put it in chat.
Okay, yeah, put it in chat. That'll be cool.
Okay, Pops, what are your thoughts?
It's a good-looking ship. Gomav and I were talking earlier. It looks like it should. It's not a. And to say it's not that in that sense to say it's looks Argo makes their ships look exactly like they should look. and to their function. But now I have, I guess it's kind of a question. The containers that they mentioned, is that something that is coming with this ship, or are they just a placeholder? Because I'm thinking, man, if you own those containers, you now got to go back and go get them and make sure you have them. And that's another thing you have to worry about going to get. But, you know.
Yeah, in the
Pops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think these are like shipping containers for freight in the real world, right? You're picking these containers up and going and moving them, and then you're getting other containers and taking and moving those. Like you might own your own trailer if you're running a rig, but 9 times out of 10, if you're an owner operator, you're picking up somebody else's trailer and then somebody else's trailer. And even if you own your own trailer, you're getting that trailer loaded and unloaded, so you're not leaving the trailer. So I think it's a lot like that.
Exactly. And just so you'll know, Pops, the mechanics, they mentioned it in the ISC, that the ones that are on there now are just placeholders until the physical dynamic is put in, and then it will be where you'll be physically dropping them off. I wanted to hit on something that Van Cody said, because Van, we don't want people to think that Van Cody says that we keep thinking about the whole series, but it could also be essential for delivering consolidated materials for the Pioneer, or more importantly for homesteads. So we don't want to restrict this to thinking this just for the whole series. I think Colossal said something a minute ago. Obviously, Argo is showing that they are going to be the industrial people for moving between the SRV, because they showed the SRV moving cargo. They've shown the Argo cargoes moving cargo, which will be much more, because of their speed, is designed for working at stations and moving from like the Idris to a cargo deck or something like that. And then you've got ships like this that we can see are obviously designed for bringing things down to the surface and back and forth. So they're kind of creating this whole team of ships that work, that be coming from a station down to a planet, vice versa. A lot of stuff here that they're creating with this whole Argo theme that's really, really cool.
And they said in the Q&A, that I know Bluesy knows this too. He's saying that the 32 we're looking at here will work on the C's, D's, and E's, which means that the A's and B's are actually going to use a smaller cargo unit, and that's probably where the MPUV is going to come in. I still think the SRV is going to work for the bigger stuff like we're talking now, because it does hold a lot of material. So
And actually, just 2 things. Actually, one, it said that
we got Rain before you, Spitfire. So Rain first, and then you.
I just want to make a few points real quick. One, I don't know why we keep wanting spaceships that are semi-trucks to move like they're Porsches. And I don't understand why that's a a contention with new ships when they come out, where it's like, oh, it's slow or it's sluggish or whatever it's supposed to be. And mentioned dozens of times, not every ship is for everybody. I don't think saying that would be like saying a fully crewed Hull E doesn't move the way I want it to. Yeah, it's a giant floating container ship in space. Like, it's not going to move like a fighter.
Well, that's why I didn't buy
it. Yeah, exactly. Number 2, we've heard them say that a lot of ships, especially in downward thrust, have magic numbers. That's true. If you're interested in the math, just to let you know, the Carrack has a 71-to-1 thrust to weight ratio. If you take its thrust and specific impulse on the engines. So like Griffin said, I want to back up a lot of what Griffin said. If you look at the actual numbers in game, you've got ships that a single thruster is putting out, something like 60 Merlin rocket engines worth of thrust right now, which, yes, we're 1,000 years in the future. I get it. Who cares? Whatever. But that's a bit much, and these ships their flight characteristics don't change. You don't get a Carrack that's even more sluggish when it's full of cargo and carrying a shuttle and people and 2 ground vehicles and things like that. So I think, again, I didn't hear anybody mention inclement weather conditions, ships that are specifically built to stay in the air, where other ships might get knocked out of the sky because it's just too much, right? This one's specifically built for that. We've not, Griffin, you talked about, getting out of high G environments where some ships literally won't be able to land. This might. Even laden. I just think there's when these newer ships come out, I kind of wish, and Griffin, I think you and I are on the same page here. I wish people would step back a little bit more and try and look at the total picture concept of what this thing is for before making instantaneous judgments on it. I mean, yes, we've got it right now, and the way it's working right now is something we can criticize, sure, but like maybe step back and look at, okay, well, how's it going to react in the next 2 or 3 patches when new gameplay comes in? It's probably going to be a completely different ship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the point that I wanted to make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Spitfire, go ahead.
One of the things I was going to say was addressing something Cypress in chat said is, guess what, Cypress? Now, coming to a store near you, paints that aren't orange for the Argo vehicles. Hooray. I'm happy.
Hexgate, I want it in game. Where is it, CIG? You promised it 5 years ago.
All right.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
the paint shop is for.
Yeah, no. I was just gonna say, to Rain's point, I think that there's also a dynamic of us, constantly remembering that this game is evolving, and just like how we're all having to adjust to inventory changing, for example, or the downstate and death of a spaceman. Now, there's a lot of adjusting. We've been playing this game for years a certain way, and now they've introduced this new thing. For a lot of us, it's frustrating at first, but even though we get it, but we have to change the way we play the game. Colossal mentioned earlier about something as simple that armor has not been implemented. So all of the way we've been pew-pewing is going to change. The shields are going to come in and become a factor of how we do things. The economy is going to come in and change the way we do
Next
things.
patch, we hope.
Right. Atmosphere is going to change things. Gravity is going to change things. And so, I get why we respond the way we do because we play the game a certain way. I think one of the biggest hurdles that CIG is going to have, one of the biggest balancing hurdles that they're going to have. And those of us who've been around a long time will remember when you used to leave Port Olisar to go to Hurston, it would take you 15 minutes. You remember that? It took 15 minutes to get there. And they've
Because
tweaked
none of the
it
quantum
over
drives
time.
went above 0.2.
That's right. And now they've tweaked it now so that it feels reasonable. And I think that that's going to be part of their thing when it comes to this game. What's reasonable? Because time in this game is not like time in any other game. A lot of other games we're used to expediting. We're used to finding that portal that allows you to jump somewhere and you don't have to be bothered with, real travel. But this game is kind of a throwback to the times when not only did you have to take time, but they're also trying to make sure that when you do have time, that there's reasons for that time. And so, I hear people all the time say, I don't want to be in Orison because it takes all year to get out of orbit. It never bothers me to leave Orison when I leave orbit, but that's also because I'm always flying in some small ship that only takes maybe an extra 2 minutes for me to get out of atmosphere. I'm not trying to find my favorite ship, an 890, or anything unreasonable, unless I know that that's going to be the issue. If I want to take a Connie out of there, I'm mentally ready to say, I know it's going to take me time to do it. And that's just one location. We haven't even gotten to all the other locations that you're going to have to think about. Which ship do I take down there? Is this the best ship to take down there? Is it because there's bad weather and storms and my ship cannot handle the winds? I mean, there's all these things that are going to come in that are going to be challenges for us as players in this game, but we have to remain flexible and allow CIG to build in that room because they do listen to us. And when something frustrates the community enough, they go back and look at it. And they've been really good about that. They've made their faux pas, but they've been really good about that. So just give it time. We're still in, it sounds like the excuse of we're in alpha, but that is where we're at. And we'll get there.
A lot of people seem to forget that this is the smallest system in the game.
Yeah, right. It is. Right. We haven't got to the big systems yet by any means.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be taking 15, 20 minutes to go from one side of fire to the other. I'm sorry. Just so you know.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say real quick to touch on Cooper in a box's comment. Cooper, you know how you say yellow and black caution paint? Check the store.
Yes.
The one thing I want to say
it exists.
The one thing I wanted to say about this, about the Argo or the Wrath, is that so many LCI tokens, so little money.
I just want to add on top of that. I just want to thank Yo-Yo Meg for rating us with a party of 14.
It's
great to have you guys
here. Hey, Yo-Yo Meg, we remember you from last week. Thank you for the post too. We hope you are. Yo-Yo Meg is new. to Star Citizen, and their group was playing last week, and they were having a ball. They said they've been playing for like 2 days, I think, when we rated them, and they were just having a blast. Hopefully, you didn't spend too much time in prison, because I saw that's where you were last time I looked at your screen.
About a half hour from what I saw.
Yeah, but you all check out Yo-Yo Meg when you get a chance. They're support them. They're fun. They're coming in and learning about Star Citizen. Yo-Yo, hopefully you found out that this community is very welcoming and will help you in any way possible. So thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the rate. We appreciate that. Thank you.
You need to come on the show.
Yeah.
Tell us her experiences.
Yeah, that would be cool, right?
That's a good
All
idea.
right.
I like that idea.
All right. Colossal threw you under the bus, Yo-Yo, so we're going to have to get in touch with you.
You're welcome.
So you ready for any more thoughts about the raft before we move on?
Yes, I do want to say one more thing. The raft does have a tractor beam.
Yes.
It does, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it will not be able to lift ships. I want to go ahead and throw that theory out because it's already in there, unless it's the same size. And so they're giving a hint that you may be able to do something that has the same in terms of what it can power. But she's definitely designed to tractor cargo.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
And with that, we're going to continue on with the ISC. We got another 4.5 minutes left. So here we go.
But up next, another ship making its highly anticipated debut at this year's event, the Ares Starfighter from Crusader Industries.
A lot of times you need a ship for a very specific purpose. Ultimately, sometimes you just need a big ship with a big gun that goes a ship with a big gun that goes I don't think it even sounds like that anymore. The Ares Starfighter is the premier single-seat fighter designed to take on larger threats.
The first time I remember hearing about it was, this is, single-seater, size 7 guns, capital ship killer, and it was like, that's going to be fun. Because it is a single-seater, you really want it to be surrounded by your ship. And when, one of the first things we do is, any ship that kind of kicks off, is make sure we're agreed and happy with our enter-exit animations. We knew that we needed to have ladder access, and we needed to kind of make sure it all worked from an animation point of view.
There are 2 variants of the ship, one with a ballistic gatling called the Inferno, and one with an energy cannon called the Ion. And these really cater to how you want to take down these larger ships. You have the ballistic gatling, which is capable of punching through shields and damaging items under the hull, and then you have the energy variant, which is designed to really attack shields and sort of melt things.
On both versions, you get a different feel, but in your peripheral vision, you're out the kind of the right hand side of your cockpit, you've just got the massive barrel of the weapon. So there was a little bit of kind of like backwards and forwards, making sure the barrel length felt right, and making sure the animation speed and that sort of stuff all kind of like worked nicely together when you were sitting there as a pilot, because when you unleash these things, it is a unique experience.
The gun itself is an integral part of the ship and cannot be swapped out, so that gives you that choice between those 2 variants of, do I want the ballistic one, which has higher DPS or damage per second but limited ammo, or do I go for the Ion with its energy cannon that essentially has infinite ammo but a lower damage per second?
On the energy version of the ship, we've got the additional cooling and all the kind of everything that the larger weapon needs. And then on the ballistic, we've got the additional kind of ammo area and ammo storage area. So it really does require, yes, it's the same underlying chassis, but it really does, it is 2 separate versions depending on which weapon is your kind of weapon of choice. Visually, I think what the Ares Starfighter brings to the game is the sense of intimidation. There's few other ships that you're really going to be scared of that are much, much smaller than you in our game. And I think the Starfighter, if you see one of those, you kind of need to run.
It's going to be really interesting to see how the dynamic changes of the in-game events such as Xenothreat and Ninetales when players have something of this caliber on their side instead.
So what did we learn about this week? Well, we learn that the Freelancer has a new competitor in the recently introduced Argo raft. That there's no one way to say when it comes to building a spacecraft around a massive gun like the Ares starfighter. And that superstar concept artist Gav Rothery sure does know how to create good-looking spaceships. He did it with the raft, he did it with the Ares, and he's got something special coming up on Mist Day, so be sure to come back next week and check that out. And don't forget the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo continues. There's a free flight going on, as well as new merchandise in the stores while supplies last. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
All right, then. That was a pretty good ending.
Now, by jumping into the persistent...
And Jared's wrong, by the way. There is only one way to say brrr.
No, this episode proved that there are multiple ways of saying it. We're going to start in the middle this time. We're going to start with Op Chief. What are your thoughts? Or do you want to...
regarding the rest of the... Can you guys hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'll pass on this one. Next person.
All right, then. All right. Popped in Face, what are your thoughts?
Let's see. I flew it. It was about a week ago, and it did pretty good. It did better than I thought till I got up against 4 Valkyries, and they did.
Specify which ship, the Ion or the Inferno?
I had the Ion. I hadn't gone out. I haven't touched my Inferno at this point, but I've seen a couple of things on the tube. But the look of the ship is great. They make some nice ships, and that's about it. I hope they adjust them and keep them adjusted correctly. Hope they don't ruin them or But I'm quite sure. I have we trust CRG. I think they'll do a good job.
Okay.
Keep them in a good place.
All right, Wayne.
America. I love these things. I think they're awesome. My flavor is the ballistic. Is like when it first, and this is the thing when people talking about CIG listening and stuff. When it first came out, it was much slower. The audio wasn't good. The actual rotation rate of the barrels, like 3 or 4 times, they tweaked it, like with making sure it had more ammo, fired faster, but did the same DPS, and tweaking the audio, and it came out like 3 or 4 times faster. Because it used to just be like boom, 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 like a chain gun. And then, they did that. So, like, this is a prime example of a starship that they listened to the community, at least on one version. These things are sexy. Crusader Industries does not make a bad-looking ship. Unlike Origin. So,
Shots fired.
Just saying with the 890. Anyway, yeah, no, I love these things. I think
you
they're
dare
awesome.
tempt the master of the mute button, I tell you.
Yeah.
The 890 is useless. Anyway.
No, it is not.
Not useless for luxury.
Well, the 600s are broke. That's all I'm saying. Everything 400i and down is fine, but above that, they don't exist.
Takes time to make perfection, don't worry.
Yeah, they haven't got there yet.
Are you done, Wayne?
Yes, sir.
Spitfire, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I've flown both of them. Okay. The Inferno. It is incredibly fun. For me, fighting other ships, I can understand why it would be good for capital. For smaller stuff, which I know it's not supposed to go up against that, so don't hate me. Okay, I'm just trying to make a point. It's not, at least for like medium and light and below, not really good for that. But now one of the types of gameplay that I am excited for is air to ground. Okay. So yes, that will be incredibly fun watching one of those strafe the ground. That said, going on to the Ion. The Ion is incredibly stupid fun, especially when you go up against a light fighter that somehow manages to stop in front of your gun. You just fire and it goes poof.
It goes poof or it goes boom?
Yeah, it goes boom. You just see it. Shields go down and it just goes boom and just blows up.
But that makes it overpowered. It's like it's OP. It needs to get nerfed. It shouldn't one shot a light fighter.
Considering CIG said that if you are stupid enough to get in front of one of these guns with a light fighter, it will delete you.
OP,
No, Matt,
OP,
1701.
nerf.
Nomad 1701, thank you for the subscription. Appreciate it. Thank you. Were you done, Spitfire?
Yeah.
Okay. Admiral Kusanagi, what are your thoughts?
I just want to touch base on what Carbon Tales was saying. They kind of make it feel like it's a one-man wrecking crew that everyone needs to fear, and they don't feel it's going to be the case at the end stage balance. And I think what Spitfire just talked upon was the fact that, again, this is supposed to be a large ship to sub-capital ship thing. It's not supposed to be able to. We're not supposed to be able to destroy the industries with them. We're supposed to be able to disable them so we can jump on them and take what we want or capture them or something like that. But I think if you had a light fighter attacking this thing right now, it should be wrecking the Ares. You should be able to be nimble enough to get around it and have it not be able to hit you with a gun and destroy it pretty lickety-split.
Okay. Face to face, what are your thoughts?
I got the chance to really personally try it out, but I'm looking forward to it once the Xeno threats and Nine Tails and whatever other events they come out with. Because I really want to try it out against bigger ships. That's really where I want to test. That's really where it's going to shine. I want to see how the battle is going to be when I'm going up against something big. I know it can delete something small, but I want to see how how
Well, I
it does.
mean, they were showing it, some demonstrations in the video, but I'm guessing you want to see for yourself in the game.
Well, right. I want to see because I did watch a video on YouTube with somebody. They had all Infernos though, and it took them, from what I saw from the video, about a good 7 minutes of just constant shooting, and it was about 4 of them on an Idris. So I mean, that was a pretty long. You could say 7 minutes is pretty long for a fight.
Not as good as Mike Tyson. No, I'm kidding. Were you done?
Yeah, I'm good. That's it.
Jade, what are your thoughts? And welcome.
Oh, hey, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little late due to the holiday and family stuff, but yeah. So I've tested both of these since they were introduced, and I agree with Fist. It's going to really shine against those bigger ships. I'm trying to get that Vaughn mission to spawn the Idris, so I can see how it does against it. So that might be one way to test it, maybe before we get Xenothreat or Nine Tails Lockdown back. But yeah, it's definitely got a specific purpose. I wouldn't want this as my only heavy fighter. But it's a very capable heavy fighter against smaller ships. But yeah, its intended purpose is to go after bigger ships. So, I like the Ion a bit more than the Inferno, but someone mentioned, I think it was Spitfire mentioned about going after ground targets, and I think the Inferno will really shine there as well.
Oh yeah.
Colossal, what are your thoughts?
My name is Bennett, and I'm not in it.
Okay.
That it? All right.
Affirmative.
Okay. Opti, we're coming back to you. Do you have any more thought? You passed the first time.
I like both of them. I have the Ion. I just wish that one was the black one because I like that color. So I got the gray color for that to accompany it. They're beautiful ships. I love Crusader. I love the way they make their ships, and so as far as industrial, I love Argo. As far as what Crusader is standing for, I just love the style. So as far as practicality goes, like Jade and Fist have said, I guess we gotta wait until we get the bigger ships to really know how effective it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. I have a CCU for a ion that I'm waiting to use. I'm waiting for Misty to come around so I can convert one of my fighters into an ion. I haven't tried it in PTU. I'm looking forward to flying it. I picked the ion over the Inferno because I want unlimited ammo, and that's mostly why I picked the ion. I'm always whatever my style of flying, I tend to pick lasers over ballistics. Griffin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sorry that GoMab isn't here because I've had this long running challenge with him because he said he bought both and he wanted to see which one was the one he would prefer, and I said you're going to end up keeping them both. I think these ships are great. I think that one of the in the video they show this one scene where the Inferno is just nailing this Idris, right? And it's like
the one that's up right now.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, don't believe the hype. I mean, they make it look like it's doing it by itself, but believe me, that one ship didn't do it just because of the amount of ammo. But I think that they have said several things. Every once in a while, you hear them say the cap ship killer. They'll use these different terms, but they also have used the terms about the definition saying this was about disabling those ships. And I think that they're designed to target. When you see them on that video, he's spraying that whole ship or she's spraying that whole ship.
Yep.
I think that this is really about being able to lock targets on engines or certain components and disabling the ship or weapons. Even if there's a big gun, you want to be able to shut that size 7 gun down or size 8 gun on a Perseus, whatever. That's where these things will really come in. And then, of course, disabling the ship. I think it's also going to need a coordinated effort because with shields and armor both being in, you need to bring in the ions at the right time. You need to bring in the Infernos at the right time. I agree with Admiral Kusanagi. A good pilot will give these jokers hell. The ion, you already saw the rate of fire on the ion, even though it's very powerful, is a much slower rate of fire. The ballista cannot waste ammo trying to shoot a mosquito. It cannot. That's going to be an issue with if someone is attacking them, whether they stay on target with what they're going for or whether they try to fend off who's ever attacking them and losing their ballistics in the process. So again, these are going to be thinking ships, and I agree with both Jade and Fist. They're going to shine when we get the bigger ships. I've heard people going out with hammerheads. Sometimes the hammerheads win, sometimes the Infernos win. But they are both challenging ships when they go against each other. But the real question is going to be when you start getting into Polarises, when you start getting into Perseus, when you start getting into Idris, and of course Javelins, to see how well these ships perform. And I think you're going to have to, you can't rely on those guns. And I want to really make that a strong emphasis. Don't think just because you have a size 7, you're the baddest, whatever. Your piloting skills and strategy is still going to be vital to making these ships work well in the game.
And those of us who've seen Invictus Week with the Javelins lighting things up who are trying to attack them, a Javelin is a much harder target than you think.
Oh, yeah, God, yeah, Javelin, oh my God, yeah.
To Griffin's point, I do have an ion to Warden CCU just in case the ion doesn't work out for me the way I hope it will. I'm hoping it does because I prefer a smaller fighter, even though they're both heavy fighters. I tried the Warden before and it didn't really appeal to me, but that was before they changed the flight model. So I rented a Warden, but I haven't had a chance to test it out yet. But I'm hoping, I really hope I do like the ion over the Warden. So we'll see.
And by the way, Ops Chief, you're absolutely right. And everybody said this. These ships are beautiful. The design on them is really, really nice.
That's another reason why I hope I like it over the Warden. I don't want to switch to the ugly Warden. All right. Any final thoughts about ISC in general?
I also think that the Inferno ballistics will shine when new ammunition types come in because there's like 4 or 5 new ammo types on the roadmap right now for the weapon team. You've got disarray ammo, whatever that's supposed to be, and then like explosive, incendiary, armor piercing, etc. So I think that'll be something like having an Inferno actually be like a Kaz thing where it comes in and does a gun run with explosive ammo might be something that it will shine and for close air support.
Mm-hmm. Point.
Okay. So with that, we're going to move on to normally we have a machinima, but this week we're doing the Whitley Guide 2951 AIE special on maybe 1, 2, and 3. We'll see how it goes. We'll start with 1 and see how it goes.
Yeah, we're gonna cut straight through them, guys, just so you know, because we picked this week because there's a storyline to it, so we kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to Microtech, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is back for 2951. Welcome to Whitley's Guide. That frosty air can only mean we're back in your favourite winter wonderland, Microtech. We're currently gearing up to head to the Tobin Expo Centre in cooler than cool New Babbage and seizing the opportunity to put this Anvil Spartan through its proverbial paces. The team designed this not-so-little beauty specifically to transport the most precious cargo of all, your friends, family, favourite heavily armed mercenary outfit, etc. So if you're looking to get a load of folks from point A to point B and keep them all in one piece, then the Spartan was seemingly designed just for you. But this is Whitley's Guide, so we aren't just going to take Anvil's word for it. Plus, hey Marty, how are you? I needed some personnel to looking good, Merrill, to transport for this segment, and there's nothing my good to see you Terry executives here like more than not paying extras. Everybody in? Off we go. This machine, Anvil uses the Atlas platform that their ballista anti-aircraft unit is built on. So they obviously aren't taking personnel transport lightly, so to speak. But I want to find out just how heavy this metal really is. And since this rig's low profile keeps us safe from those anti-aircraft turrets, Jimmy here is about to make things a little more interesting. We're about to find out if this Spartan can stay cool under pressure, whilst keeping our friends back there relatively comfortable in the face of impossibly heavy turbulence. Champagne back there! Oh, not good, not good! Oh, I don't come any closer than that! You hear that? That sound of silence means we've all survived, thanks to the handling of Anvil's Road Warrior, which is all well and good, because we're here. And with that, we kick off another Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, arriving in true Whitley style. And this year we've got more raw, uncut excitement, more pulse-pounding, heart-pumping, senses-shattering wildness than ever before. I mean, honestly, IAE 2951
What is this, McCleary? Is this segment supposed to be a callback to episode 223?
Hold on, let's cut.
All right, we're cutting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I've seen this before.
BTS, keep rolling.
Jimmy, are you in the edit bay? What is she on about?
That's a little too close for comfort. How are you, shareholders?
I don't believe it.
I'm not sure what you're going for here, McCleary, but between you and me, the ratings haven't been wrong. Great. Listen, I'm rooting for you though. Huge fan. Where are you all off to? VIP lounge? Oh, hello.
Oh, Jax. I don't know, Jimmy. Maybe this gig is passing me by. I mean, clearly I'm out of ideas. I'm rehashing old material without even realizing it. Oh, sure, but who wants to see the same old bits? I mean, even in reverse. Maybe you're right, Jim. Or maybe we just need to pull out the big guns. Don't we have something amazing planned for the Aegis bit? I just need to clear my head, figure out an angle, and start fresh on the next segment. I'll be in my trailer. The mighty Aegis Redeemer. The once and future next great starship is bristling with uncut firepower to the tune of 6 massive guns and a heaping helping of missiles, ready to jam down the gullet of any baddies foolish enough to give you any trouble. Today, we're set to find out if the infamous Redeemer can create as well as it can destroy. We've filled this ship's auxiliary fuel tanks with a special paint mixture. Stay with me, so that when I fire the thrusters just so, it'll spray stunning swathes of colour across that rooftop, which our fleet of MPUVs is turning into a giant canvas. The idea being to recreate the famous painting Tears of Fire on a massive scale. We'll just do a little bit of that at the bottom, finish that off, there we go. Jax, Cleary. Ha! So with precision controls and the spirit of artistic inspiration on our side, it's time to see if this thing makes as good a paintbrush as it does a devastating killing machine. We go! Well, that was a bit underwhelming. But we aren't done yet. Right. Oh, holy Shian Bob! That is it. I've absolutely had it. I can't believe this.
Everybody take 5.
I mean, what a piece of garbage! I accidentally plagiarised myself, and then I have the gall to think I can write the shit with some over-the-top stunt, and it doesn't even bloody work! I don't care what the kids like, Jimmy. This is the bloody Aegis Redeemer. I can't believe I thought that using the nastiest gunship to ever make a Vandal soil its bioarmor would be well served farting paint onto somebody's penthouse. I've lost my way, Jim. I don't think it's even about the ships anymore. Yeah, well, you host the show, Jimmy. I'm done.
Jimmy, we're rolling. You want a bucket? Nope. We're over here, Jimmy. Uh-huh. Eyes front. Reset.
I can't believe he's really doing it. I still don't know how you're going to pull this bit off solo. Likely kill yourself. Oh my god, he's going to kill himself!
Well, there you go, Jimmy. Now we're even for what happened in DOS.
Okay, let's see what this cannon can really do for a proper big finish.
Oh, shit. And speaking of finished, I think we better get out of here.
What are you doing, Jimmy? Enjoying the view? You've got a show to finish.
Well, that was quite the story. Let's go in order. Kusanagi, you there? No, I guess not. Face to face, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's cool. I
That's
guess,
all?
yeah. I mean,
You know what? I think let me give us some context here. Fist, we picked this because normally they have not done this running story. You know, normally when Jax comes out, he just talks about whatever that manufacturer is for the day, and
Right.
that's it, right? And this time they decided to go a different route. And I guess I kind of want to get your thoughts. I think you've seen some of the ones in the past, right? Some of these Whitleys before.
yeah, he usually just kind of shows you the names of, like you said again.
Mhm.
It's what I'm saying is cool is that they kind of gave it like how the way you see behind the scenes in production where if they did they showed that he did something twice. He's not coming up with anything new. And that happens a lot. And he goes through his depression, and he's trying to find some inspiration. And his apprentice comes through, and shows him a little something, and now he's trying to get his mojo back. I
Okay.
get it.
I hope I don't steal someone's answer, but someone told me that they went back to look at that episode. It's not an exact copy of what they made it out to be. So that was some in lore retconning that they went on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jade, what are your thoughts?
So, after Johan said basically what I was about to say, I love that they added a narrative arc to this, because like one of the things I thought was missing, and I mean, I'm not somebody who watched Top Gear or whatever, so the whole Jax thing was kind of lost on me when I first started seeing it, but was that there was no like story arc when they did these in years past. This felt, I don't want to compare it to the reunion, but it felt more along the lines of that. Like there was consistency, and I like that. I also like that we got some depth of character to Jax now. Like he feels more human, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, before he was more of a caricature. I think that's the word.
Yeah.
Colosso, what are your thoughts? Colosso might have fallen asleep.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
We're talking about Whitley.
Yep.
Yeah, he went to sleep.
No, I didn't go to sleep. I saw the whole thing. I don't have to take a Dramamine to stay up on this one, but I think it's great. I love the fact that they try to tell a storyline in this case, and it's nice that he. I'm not going to go ahead and elaborate because we're still on that storyline with the shooting part, but it's nice what they're doing with him. I want to understand what was their logic for doing that this year. I understand they're trying to say he could have been washed up, and maybe this goes along to what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about what things they could do to enhance the IAE, and you see here Whitley, he's having some complications about his role, about the things that maybe I'm washed up, maybe I'm getting old, blah blah blah. So it's just interesting how they created that this year.
Op Chief, how about you? What are your thoughts?
I also, like everyone mentioned, I like that they brought this personal side to it. One thing that maybe we're missing the point on a little bit is that he kind of is like the everyday man or everybody's man, where he kind of represents all of us in a sense. And I think that's why a lot of us like watching when the videos were coming out, especially in the depression part of it.
I've lost them. I was doing okay for a while there, but I can't.
How about now? Testing.
That's
Testing.
better.
Go ahead now.
I'll be quick. The one part is there were like mixed. It was a mixed reception by people when they were putting in that part when he was getting depressed. Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Okay. Thank you. Pops, how about you? What are your thoughts?
Jimmy, still the strong silent type. Let's see. Party bus variant incoming. And the Aries music is the same as the Knicks game starting music.
All right. So did you like it?
Yeah, it was a little bit more personality, a little bit more depth, but overall, to me, it was boring.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay. Rain Cloud, how about you?
I enjoyed it for what it was. I'm glad that they're trying to do a little storyline with it. And I kind of want to see where it goes. And glad that they reminded everybody that the Redeemer is the most amazing thing ever, and it is the most badass gunship ever, and they dishonored it and desecrated it. So
yeah, it's a great ship, just not great at painting.
No. I think it's good. I mean, CIG are the first people to do our machinima, right? So I'm glad they're trying to kick up the game a little bit.
Great about giving us the idea what flatulence sound like.
Yeah, they have to pick up the game because I mean the fans ones are picking up, increasing the bar. So yeah. All right, Spitfire. How about you? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I I know we've had the reunion before, okay, as Jade pointed out. But one of the things I'm really happy, and I know this is going to sound a lot like what other people said, is its character development, and in comparison to the reunion, which the reunion seems, for lack of a better word, like this romanticized story, this ripping thriller, where this is actually just effectively some random dude who gets in a bunch of random ships and does stupid stuff. So a lot like Top Gear, but it makes the NPCs feel a lot closer to human for us, more relatable.
Okay.
So honestly, I really enjoyed it. I did.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the series that they're doing this year. I was not expecting them to go. I don't think anyone was expecting them to go in this direction, and it's a welcome change. I hope they continue it in the future. How about you, Griff? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I want to touch on something Jade said. Jade, I think a lot of us were caught off gear if you weren't into Top Gear back in the day, which is a very popular show in the UK. I mean, it is in the US too, but in the UK, it's definitely popular. A lot of people didn't know that this was mimicking what Top Gear was, so don't feel bad by that by any means. I'm hoping that this is a continuation. I think Jade or someone else mentioned the reunion. They used the reunion not only to tell a story, but if you remember, it was their way of introducing the MSR. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that as we're evolving and as the game is evolving and the development is evolving, that this becomes the way that they introduce things. Commercials are nice, right? And I like the commercials. They've done a great job with their marketing on commercials. But what I'm hoping that we'll see is that there's becomes a blur between the game, the community, and the vision of what they're trying to do. Some of us who went to the Austin CitizenCon will remember that they introduced for the first time role players into the convention, where they had stations for Drake, Origin, RSI, everybody, and they hired actors to come in that were dressed in the uniform for RSI or the uniform for Consolidated. And you went to those tables and the people that were actors that role played out those roles. And they talked to you about buying ships. What ships do you like? They had swag for the manufacturers. They had conversations. They were very well prepped about all the lore that had to do with those particular manufacturers. It would be so cool. I think last year before last, when they did CitizenCon in Germany or wherever it was, they had a Jax McCleary area, but it was a stand-up of Jax that was there, and there was a young lady that was passing out signed pictures from Jax, right? I mean, that was it, right? Wouldn't it be cool to go and Jax McCleary is at CitizenCon, as well as presenting here? I would love to see them blur that line to that degree, so that one, because I'm still blown away by Star Citizen, the fact that we have an actual convention for a game that officially isn't even out. And then we have an in-game expo, which is a convention that takes place too. I want to see them connect all the dots to that, where there's the human side of it. When we sit and watch, when we go to the expo in the game, like we were talking about all the interactiveness that we want to see happen there and the social dynamic, I want to see that. I want us to move beyond marketing and beyond just selling ships, but that this really becomes a part of the lore, everything else in the game. And I think if they do that, as the game continues to evolve, you'll get a blurred thing. It's all one thing and not just that, oh, it's time to sell ships, but that we really are coming together because it's about the whole development of the project.
Brings me back to the Second Life conversation about metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
totally agree with you, Griff. I hope we
Mm-hmm.
see that.
Mm-hmm.
I want the Star Citizen universe. I wanna live in it.
Mm-hmm.
From top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any final thoughts about what these guys?
I'm just gonna theory craft a bit, in which I don't think it's anywhere near, but I think that was supposed to be Odin.
You know, I couldn't tell. I know they were in some other system. I wonder whether they were giving us a hint to Pyro because of the way it looked when they showed the scene of him flying in, but I couldn't tell. It was too weird. But it didn't look like it was it definitely didn't look like it was Stanton.
No, the reason I think that is because if you actually look at all the other space junk / military looking crap that's floating in the background, Odin, if I'm correct, and Jade would know this, I think that's the dumping ground for the UE.
Let me take a look real quick. I do recall there being a dumping ground for the UE, but
Yeah,
I
I
am
can't
not sure
remember
if it's
if Odin
Odin.
or not.
Okay. Could be.
It's definitely a system on the decline. I know that.
Okay.
All right. So, with that, we're having a little special something going on right now. Next, we have a premiere from Nu Soul and a collaboration with DigThat. Face-to-face or Pop, you want to give an explanation?
Sure. Well, DigThat did a little video, I think about a couple of weeks ago, where he decided to drop a nice little couple of bars. So I said, Dig, you know what? Give me those 16. Let me see if I can do something with that. And he definitely gave it to me. And you know, hopefully he likes it. I don't know if he's here, but
All right. And with that, check it out. It's about 2 minutes. So here we go.
Money. Money.
No benzos. Lorenzos. Corporate geek, no. 6 fig, no. No benzos. Lorenzos.
Are you able to put the video up with it or no?
6 fig, no. Lorenzos. 6 fig, no. Fucking with the kid, but the kid it out with. Cause the bro got holes in the shoes and with those. My athletic shit spin the wax, baby girl tough. Surgical steel, this is the kill. A who on concept, Scotty Yachty's baby girl tough. To be me on up. To be me on up. To be me on up. Low in the back on the counter or two. Cause I ain't got no better shit to do. Bad habit rude. Heavens on walls causing cracks. Baseball's are blue. Baseball's are blue. To be me on up. To be me on up. What do we do when the pressure building? We feeling the fire, go out in the night. Toss some lots, some glass, some hit them with less. Some plenty of rice, blue boys get rice. But every gun I trap, I'm hunting all my partners. Can they stop it with they choppers? What they choppers? I'm a harder target when I'm moving vertical, dodging they prison they profits. Prison they profits.
All right.
Wow.
That was good. I liked it.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Very nice.
How long did it take you to do it?
We started what? They gave it to us on
Sunday?
I think,
Sunday?
Yeah, he gave it to us on Sunday. Yeah,
Okay,
Sunday.
cool.
So, yeah, I just finished it. What is it? That yesterday? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, we finished it.
Yeah,
yeah,
mastering it
yesterday.
yesterday. Finished
Okay.
mastering it yesterday. So yeah.
Well, that's a good lead-in for me because I'll be on the People's Radio tomorrow at 2100, I'm still working on this show, but it should be done in 3 hours. So hopefully, people will check it out and enjoy it. That's on the People's Radio tomorrow, 2100. I also want to give a shout out to DK, who was just on this past week. DK's house session, that was a pretty good jam. Is he on right now? No, he's not. I think I saw him in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good job, DK. Or you can
You
check
wanna
check
throw
him
up a
out
link?
on Mixcloud. Yeah. All right. And with that, on next show on Sunday, we're doing we're talking about IAEs. So a whole bunch of stuff that I prepped for today is gonna be on Sunday. I spent like a couple of hours putting together the show today because I was thinking we had a lot to talk about, but then I was like, oh, I should save this stuff for Sunday. Okay. So Griffin stepped in and not fill the time, but different topics to talk about. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Griffin. Mm-hmm. But that'll be this Sunday, 11/28, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 1 a.m. UTC. So check us out for that. You have any thoughts about this?
Yeah,
show?
our guest is going to be DePoets. For those of you who know DePoets from social media, but also DePoets is a fairly new Star Citizen player backer, and so we're excited to have him on with us this Sunday too.
And we also have Abby Johan, me, GoMap, Griffin, and Unique. So that'll be a full show.
Oh, nice.
It'll be fun. All right, with that, we're going to raid Francisco Admiral.
No, actually, I'm changing it up. We're going to go with Mops 33 tonight. We've been meaning to raid him for a while, so I'm shifting the gears a little bit tonight.
Okay, so Mops 33. So make sure you send him our love. And just want to say we sell merchandise. We sell T-shirts, gamepad, mugs, and hats. We sell hats. I almost forgot the fourth one. And check us out on social media. We're on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud for the podcast, and a whole bunch of other stuff. On Twitter also. So check us out on Twitter if you want to keep up with us. With that, I want to thank everyone who chatted with us. We had Admiral Kusanagi, Face to Face, Jade, Colossal, Opsy, Popped in Space, Raincloud, and Spitfire. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And with that, peace, love, and soul. Thank you for joining us.
Happy holidays.
A happy holiday.
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yep.